life. Who could remember the phone numbers to this radio station when I haven't even given them out? Only somebody out there who's got it stenciled on a doily on the sofa or something, or they wrote it on that little wipe-off pad there on the refrigerator. Only someone who's actually written down our phone numbers. Who? You calling me? Stop bothering us. One of the reasons why we don't want you listening to us anymore is it's a bother. It's just a bother to have you listening to us. We're going to get into that with a little bit more depth, but operating a 50,000-watt radio station, day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out, and this station, KFI, I guess in the 20s, I mean, it's an old station, 70-plus years, this radio station's been on the air in Los Angeles. It's been a major component, I suppose, in the broadcast landscape, what with its large signal and its exceedingly desirable dial position. We are a clear channel station. That's something you don't hear said anymore. In fact, I don't know whether clear channel stations exist any longer. But there was a time when 640 on the AM dial was a clear channel position, meaning that no other radio station in America had that frequency other than KFI. That means that nobody could increase power or otherwise interfere with our signal. It was a clear channel. There are a couple others. I'm not sure. I think the one that I was on in Minneapolis, CCO 850, I think that might have been clear. But I digress. Fact is, all of that juice, all of that energy, all of that transmitter power, all of that effort put into promotion and marketing, all of that stuff, we don't want it anymore. We're not doing it anymore. We're done. We quit. We're through. We have quit. We're stopping now. You remember when you were a kid and you were playing with some friends of yours? You might have been playing Cowboys and Indians. You might have been playing, I used to play a game, Gangsters, you know, or War. When you were a kid, you'd play War. You'd have guns and you'd be up in a treehouse and everything. And then all of a sudden, right at the heat of a pitched battle, right as you were about to take the beach there in the kid's backyard or take the treehouse, all of a sudden some kid would go, I don't want to do it anymore. And he'd throw the gun down and it would blow the whole thing. There you were, you're ready to take the treehouse. Bam, 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 bam. You're going up the thing, and all of a sudden, some kid's mom, Bill! Kid's mom, Billy! Billy! I gotta go now, and that's the end of that. I don't feel like doing it anymore, he'd say, and off he'd go. That's what we've done. That's essentially what we've done here at KFI. We don't feel like doing it anymore. You may not feel like listening anymore. That's fantastic. This is the first time, perhaps, in history that somebody might call the station and say, well, based upon that program, I'm not listening to your show, your radio station anymore. Good. This is good. Now, that's a good thing. Based upon the show that I heard, based upon the caller, whatever, I'm no longer going to listen to KFI radio. And I can safely say to you this evening, at 12 minutes after 7, just to show you how sincere I am, that's the first time I've ever done an air check on the show, or a time check on the show. I can safely say to you, that's a good thing. Good. Not angry. We're not being mean-spirited about it. We just don't want you around any longer. Probably in many ways you don't want us around anymore. All right, so we're done. We're finished. There are a lot of us around here headed up to here. We just can't stomach it any longer. That one extra morsel of food, that one thin slice of turkey that you tried to get in your gullet at Thanksgiving, and everything would come rushing up, that's about what's going to start happening to us here. Unless we get some control over the situation here, just get out of here. I'll send your things, leave an address. I'll mail your stuff to you. If you leave an earring on the bedstand, I'll leave it at the front door. But we cannot abide any longer. With all due respect, we can no longer abide nor intentionally take your listening to this station anymore, so you've got to stop now and go away and get out of here. Goodbye. I know you're going to take it personal. I don't want you to. On your way out, it'd be nice if you'd make us a sandwich. Baby?
I had a call from one of our advertisers. He had someone walk into his store who was a real, how do I put this? The guy was a real nose picker.
Like a hick?
Like a hayseed, a real hayseed. And the guy walked into the store and made the announcement, I heard about you on KFI. This guy, this advertiser, this store owner, said to me that he was absolutely embarrassed that some nose-picking hayseed like this would step into his store. And I got to thinking about it. Not going to be able to do that until we get rid of everybody listening to this radio station.
And so if I may interrupt, David.
Sure.
So the goal is to get a smarter, more affluent,
and younger listener base to this radio station. That's the only way we can get rid of a lot of these hayseeds and get rid of all this embarrassment, I think, to that advertiser, number one, and also start fresh with a whole new perspective from our listeners. That's why, as we say, we want you to stop listening and get out of here, as Phil's been saying.
All right. 1-800-5201-KFI, Orange County, 5201-KFI, LA County. If you just joined us, it is a rather revolutionary night here on KFI. We are asking people to stop listening to this radio station. If you have, stop. Cease, desist, and go away. We don't want you listening to KFI any longer. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Phil Hendry.
And welcome back to Phil Hendry Show on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. A very unusual evening. We are asking that you cease your listening to KFI. We have our program director, David Hall, on the line to talk with you a little bit about that and to talk with me about that. And when we were discussing this, David, before the news break, you said that it started with a discussion you had with an advertiser because the listener that he saw, this station, was what, undereducated?
Phil, a little bit of all of that. Undereducated, not quite affluent enough, not quite young enough. I took a look at the crowd at Stimuland, and I got to tell you, I got into my car and I drove home probably never more depressed than I was at that time driving home, Phil. Because
after Stimuland?
I was absolutely just depressed. I saw a lot of people that were obviously old, not well educated. There's a certain look that a person has who's got some influence. One of the tip-offs is how they care for their teeth. And you saw a lot of those people.
Yes, I did.
They were simple people. And KFI Radio can no longer abide that. And we no longer want that. And we are trying today, with your show, on into Tim and Neil and the others, to get rid of all those people. We want, as I said, very simple, three things from our listeners now. We want more affluence, we want more intelligence, and we want more youth from the listeners of this radio station. And the only way you do that is by cleansing the slate, wiping the slate clean, and getting rid of these people who are no longer benefiting us whatsoever as listeners. Get rid of them and start getting some of these younger, more affluent, and more intelligent listeners, more educated listeners. We're looking, as I said, for a zero share of fall, because then we know that we have driven most of them from the airwaves. Now, we have started something for our marketing department. It's called a listener eligibility resume. And
all right, I heard